How you doing out there in the interworld world? I'm Harry Corpening, president of RJ Reynolds High School Alumni and Friends Organization. I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing you to RJ Reynolds High School's new head football coach, Mr. Joe Davidyock. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Harry. How are you?
It's great to see you for the first time and to meet you.
Good to meet you as
I
well.
Let me ask the questions that most folks probably want to start with. How did you get to Reynolds? In other words, what's your background? Why did Calvin Freeman say, and Brad Fisher being the athletic director, Mr. Freeman being the principal, why did they say Joe Davidyock's going to be our coach and we're happy about it?
Yeah, so I spent the last 3 years at Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I ended my last year there as the offense coordinator. So when this job came open, I threw my name in the hat and got to meet Mr. Freeman and Coach Fisher, and we shared a lot of the same ideas and beliefs and things that we come to know that are true when it comes to success with sports and school. And I was blessed with the opportunity to come lead this program. So kind of long story short right there.
Well, that works for me. Did you play football in college? Doesn't matter, just curious.
Yeah, I was supposed to. So I actually was supposed to play at Greensboro College, and I was very naive to the whole financial aid and all that. So I had a scholarship to go to school there for academics, and it wasn't quite enough. So I was paying like $1,200 a month to go to school. So I had to work. So I actually worked at Brick's Pizza in Greensboro for 5 years. I ended up being the manager. I bartended, I cooked, I served. I did all kinds of stuff there. And I got through school because of that. I didn't get to play, but I jumped right into coaching. I knew I wanted to coach when I was 17. So it kind of was seamless transition right there.
We've talked on the phone and I heard a dog. Can I assume you're married or maybe you're single?
Yeah, no, I'm married. My son is actually going to be born in September.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah,
What
thank
happens
you.
during that time? Who takes over?
Well, we got a plan in place. We got a great staff. We really do. And it's actually, we got a couple of former head coaches on staff and
Why don't you
guys.
take a second while we're talking about it, mention them, tell their backgrounds.
Yeah. So our offensive coordinator is Coach Patrick Taylor. He was the head coach at North Surrey High School, as well as an assistant there. And was also a head coach in the state of Georgia years ago. He comes to us from West Oaks. He was the offensive coordinator there. And he'll
When
be
you're
our assistant.
high schools in Georgia, that's a religion. You're almost a pastor. That's not a coach.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll be our assistant head coach and our offensive coordinator. And then Wayne Griffin is our defense coordinator. He was the head coach at Carver last year for the last few years. So two former head coaches on staff that kind of helped me out, get this thing rolling. And then we got a couple of young guys, Coach Josh Mickey and Coach Luke Mickey, both played at West Oaks High School and were assistants there as well. Coach Luke Mickey will be the defensive line coach, and Coach Josh Mickey will be our offensive line coach and our JV head coach. Coach Lewis, who's been here for the last few years as our running back coach, will still be our running back coach. Coach Council, who's been an EC teacher here for the last, I think, 2 to 3 years, will take over as the receivers coach and our academic coordinator.
I graduated in 1968. The idea of an EC doesn't mean anything to it means something to me because I was a school bus driver for 6 years for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system. But explain what an EC means.
So EC is exceptional children, so essentially special education, and he works with our occupational
special needs,
study.
in other words.
That's right. Our occupational core study program is what he's over. So those are kids that work. A lot of their studies happen not only in the classroom but also in the community, where they learn about different fields of work. And they have some requirements that they need to complete before they graduate. And it has to do with community service and things like that.
Two questions that are related.
Okay.
I would assume there's a doctor or physician or something at every practice and every game.
Yeah, Heather's our athletic trainer. She's been here. This will be her second year here. She's great. The kids love her. She really takes care of them, really cares about, their health and their abilities. And, she's been a great resource to have here for a number of reasons.
Okay, and the next question that I assume all the mothers want to hear, and I'm sure probably mostly men are watching this, I would assume, but maybe women also. Is it safe to practice and play in weather that we're experiencing?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of rules and regulations that we have to keep kids safe. So last week we were dealing with some of the heat, and there was a day we had to take our helmets off and continue to practice. It got to a level where we weren't able to practice with our equipment on. There was another day we had to go in early and practice inside. So we do have rules and regulations in place to kind of protect our kids. We have to fit in water breaks into our practice schedule. So I actually detail that in our schedule. And we give them about 5-minute breaks for that time to hydrate, get off their feet, and then get back to practice. So it is safe as long as we follow the rules and regulation, which we do to a T. And that's most important.
You're going to be playing well, let me ask the question. Will you be playing at the proposed new all-campus stadium, the all-sports stadium this fall?
This fall, our stadium that's being built won't be quite ready, so we'll still be in Deaton-Thompson this fall. But we are very excited to see this whole stadium come together and get finished. It's a great plan, and everybody that's working very hard to get this thing done. We're really excited about seeing the finished product.
Do you think the teams will be able to use it in the spring semester, or do you know?
I'm not sure. I really don't have much more information other than it just won't be ready for our football season. But I know that there's movement happening. There's things trying to get done so that they can really get moving on the project. But that's about all that I know.
One other related question. I was manager of the football team for North Carolina State for 3 years, so know a little bit about football. You would look at me and say, you obviously didn't play, and I'd say, you're obviously right. You're going to be playing at a stadium that has grass. We haven't had rain in a while. Isn't that kind of like playing on concrete?
It can sometimes. It can sometimes. It really depends. Is there
any way that, like in the schools, it not to hurt anybody, not to hurt the chances of anyone, but it would seem like to me if you watered it in the morning and then let it, evaporate during the day, you're not trying to stop some fast guy on the other team. You just want to make it safe when people hit, so it just don't bounce like that. I'm just curious, do they do anything like that or no?
From what I understand, there should be a sprinkler system at the field, and the grass gets watered that way. And RJ Reynolds and Parkland takes care of that stadium. So that stadium's been home to us for a very long time. It's held up very well. So I'm not worried about any conditions like that for our guys.
When I graduated, the Demon looked kind of like the Demon. I see behind you the various logos. Forgive me, I've never asked anybody about them. What are they? What is which one do you use as a football team, and which one, I don't know, and I'm sure others don't either.
So we use the R that's on my screen right now. That actually was created with Coach Fisher and somebody else involved as well. He created that years ago, and he loves that logo, and it's been our school logo ever since. We do still have the demon head in some areas, but just about everybody in our programs uses the R with the trident as their primary logo.
When we play a home game, what will the uniform look like? Black on white or black on yellow, or?
It's a secret, Harry. I'm going to let everybody see it the first game.
Oh, I like it. I like that. Well done. A little PR work here.
Yeah.
Well done. Let's see. What's your home schedule?
So our home schedule, we open up with High Point Central at Deaton-Thompson, and then we move to Northwest Guilford, which is week 3. We continue on with Davie County, which is going to be our homecoming. Parkland will be our senior night.
Do you know what those dates are?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull them up right now.
People might want to, they might want. When I was growing up, Parkland was the main rival. Who's the main rival now? Is it Reagan or is it Tabor?
It's Tabor. A lot of people talk about Tabor being that big night, and we certainly want to make sure that we get that one. So going back to your question, our home schedule on the 18th of August is High Point Central. September 1st, we'll play Northwest Guilford. September 15th, which is after our bye week, will be Davie County, which is our homecoming game. September 29th, which is Parkland, that'll be our senior night. And October 20th will be West Forsyth. So that's our schedule. We'll be on the road for Tabor, which is fine with us. And we look forward to that opportunity to be able to play them. I know we lost our quarterback to Tabor, so we're looking forward to an opportunity to go play them.
Okay. Speaking of lost quarterback, in North Carolina, well, I don't know if it's in North Carolina, at least in Forsyth County, anybody can go to any school. The school system will provide transportation. Like if I lived in Buena Vista and I wanted to go to Carver or whatever, they would take me, whatever.
Right.
And I know when, I guess 20 years ago, whenever Coach West, I think his name was, basketball coach, we had that Reynolds was quite good. Folks in the city would say he's recruiting good players to come and to Reynolds, and then when he moved to Reagan, he's recruiting there. Is that a problem? In other words, the other coaches, you said, and I'm not trying to pick on Parkland, but it just happened, on Tabor, it just happened to be mentioned, and I just thought I would ask, do coaches recruit like in junior high, and if they see someone that's really good, say something like, we'd love for you to come to Reynolds, and that's not illegal, but whatever. I'm just curious that happens.
Sure. I don't think we want to sit here and accuse of any team of any wrong.
No, I'm not about it. I'm just saying, does it happen? I'm not saying any specific, but does in general, you've got, how many high schools are there? 12, 10, 9?
Yep. I would say it's all
12 folks out there. Is there a chance some of them are recruiting?
It's possible, absolutely. I think a lot of it, we are all in the same boat as especially head coaches in this county that fight so hard to make all of our programs, our specific programs, attractive to kids. And that's based off a lot of things. I think it helps to have a continuity in your staff. I think it helps to have a continuity in your schools. I think it has, of course, winning attracts kids, and sometimes facilities and uniforms and all those other things that really don't have much to do with football, really. All those things are attractive to kids, and we're all fighting the same fight to make our programs the most attractive in this area.
But we've got one advantage. RJ Reynolds High School is a place everyone wants to be. Isn't that
Absolutely. And when I took this job, Harry, that's exactly how I felt. It has everything it needs to be very successful, and that's why I love this job. The kids are amazing. The families are great. The community really loves this place, and that's really my biggest project, is trying to kind of connect the community a little bit more with our football program so that we can keep giving back to the community that RJ Reynolds has given so much to, and that's my biggest project.
Forgive me for asking when I get kind of in the weeds and questions. I graduated in 1968, January 5th. What happened that night? Senator Robert Kennedy was killed. What was school like? Girls could not wear pants at Reynolds High School until 1972. When I was there, no one could wear, they couldn't wear pants. They had to wear skirts or dresses. When I was there, no one could wear blue jeans. No one could wear shorts. So that kind of, I guess that dates me a little bit, seeing as girls can now wear gym shorts and T-shirts are allowed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not knocking, I just said that's how much times changed. When I was there, integration had just started, and probably 10% of the students were African American. There were no Hispanic students at all in the school in 68. I think I had a graduating class of about 400 or something like that. How does that compare to today? Let me read you hold on one second. Let me read the official wording, I guess, from the guidance counselors of what Reynolds High School is. Reynolds serves a diverse population of close to 1,750 students from throughout the entire city and county. The students from our residential zone make up 67% of our student body. That means 33% come via lottery, and that's a great thing because folks want, like I said, RJ Reynolds High School is the place everybody wants to be. The remaining 33% attend through a magnet application and lottery process that typically generates a waiting list of more than 115 students. If you look at the breakdown in simplistic terms, this isn't exactly right. The white students represent about a third, and white's not a race really. How they ever came out, I always thought it was Caucasian or something, but white. And the African American students, and that's not necessarily a race, but they make it about a third, and the Hispanics and Vietnamese, and they're RJ Reynolds High School on any given day. I believe the last time I heard there are 26 different nationalities involved between staff and teachers. When you walk down the hallway of RJ Reynolds High School, it's literally like walking into the UN. You've got the very rich and you've got the homeless. You've got black, white, yellow, orange, yellow people. You've got straight, you've got gay, you've got transgender, and they all get along. The previous principal, Dr. Leslie Alexander, now she's the superintendent at Watauga Schools. She had been there 2 or 3 years. We were named John F. Kennedy School of the Performing Arts School of Excellence. We are the Magnet School of America. We've won that School of Excellence. We've done it. The news would be if we don't win. I think it's like 7 years in a row or something like that. She did such a good job, and the Reynolds such a great school that midway through her tenure, a group of folks from, I think it was, what's the city right next to Fort Worth, flew up with they called first and said, can we come see, we want to see what makes you guys so damn good. And she said, sure. And I'll give you free reign. You can walk into any class, anything you want to look at, help yourself. What was their takeaway? He said, you got a decent school, but hell, it's almost 100 years old. You've got good teachers, but we didn't see any Socrates there. You've got good technology, but it's all right. It's not out of the world different. What amazed us is people seem to care for each other. It's not unusual to see a white student hold the door for an African American or Hispanic, and vice versa. You people treat everyone like you like, or you at least mostly have a smile, and there's no big deal. In Texas, everyone seems to be tribal. There's a group of white students, there's a group of black students, there's a group of Hispanic students, and there's no commonality. And said that was the biggest takeaway. And that's what I've always been proudest about Reynolds High School. I asked, the reason I bring that up, what's the makeup of our team? Is it 50-50 white versus others, or mainly African American? Or I'm just curious how the breakup is. How the makeup is.
I would say our team's rather diverse. I would say there's a good mix between white, black, Hispanic, and they do such. And we just had team camp, Harry, and we did.
Forgive me, what's that? So folks will know.
We spent 10 hours a day together, not necessarily just doing football, hanging out, playing games, getting to know each other, writing our goals down, cleaning this place. I mean, we spent the last day cleaning the weight room and the storage room and all. We spent so much time just trying to get to know each other and kind of rub elbows together. And I had a few kids tell me after they left Wednesday that they really felt like they came closer together than they have in a long time. And that put a smile on my face, because that was the whole goal of camp, was just to get closer as a group, because we're all chasing one goal, and that's to be a great football team, and then good people. Those two things are my job to make sure that we do here every day. And I think our camp kind of embodied that. I would say our makeup of our team is exactly what you talked about with RJ Reynolds High School. And that's why it's so important that we can show that we can be successful with that.
What do you see? Have you seen them play at all? I guess in practice you.
We did 7-on-7s, and we went and competed at a number of different places. And I will tell you, we had a very competitive summer. We did not walk away checking off one of our goals of winning a 7-on-7 tournament, but we were in the conversation in every place that we went. We went to Carolina. We played some really, really tough teams, and we had a tough day that day. But we're in within a score of every game, except for one. And then we went before that. We had a 7-on-7 at Fayetteville State. We took fourth, and we were actually in the semifinals up against Dudley, and had a chance to go to the championship. We went to Winston State, and we were in every game within a score, and we actually gave up two leads late with less than 2 minutes to go, and that would have put us 3-0 going into playoff play. So how quickly our fortunes changed, but we were very competitive all summer long with two new systems offensively and defensively, and the kids answered, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
You said it doesn't matter one way or the other. I'm just curious. You said you came from Mallard Creek.
Yes, sir.
Successful teams there. I don't know anything about Charlotte teams.
Yeah, so Mallard Creek is actually one of the highest out of the last 10 years. They have like one of the highest winning percentages in the state of North Carolina. They opened in 2007. They've won three state championships in 2012. No, I'm sorry, 2013, 14, and 15. 3 back-to-back. And they have a number of Division I, Power 5 college football players, as well as NFL players from that program. When you talk about the powers of North Carolina high school football, they're always in the conversation.
Let's talk a little bit. Well, I wrote down a thing. What are the needs of your team? Well, I'm sure the best players in the county would be your needs. But what are the needs you have outside of the football players? In other words, what can the alumni help with? What types of things do you need?
Well, I know your good friend Mike Swain has been doing a great job of trying to help with securing funds for our pregame meals this year. Every dollar that we can raise so that we don't have to pull out of our of the money that we do have is always great, because it allows us to put that money towards other things for football.
Let me make one statement here, and I'm sure the folks that have watched videos I've done have heard me say it in the past, but in case you're watching for the first time and because you saw the subject line of the email I sent out being about football, and maybe you hadn't taken the time to look at the other stuff, which is perfectly fine. That's a decision you make. The Reynolds High School is a Title I school. What does that mean by definition? That means at least 1 out of every 2 students qualifies for a free or reduced price lunch. What's the reality of Reynolds High School? Some of the students are homeless. Mm-hmm. You won't know that. Why? Because they don't want to tell folks that. Why would you ever want to admit you're homeless? No. So it's it's a nightmare for the school to find out. They rarely do that. We've got a thing called the Demon Pantry, where if any student comes to the school hungry, we will immediately give them food. Costs them nothing. Here, eat, because you're not going to eat if you're you're not going to learn if you're hungry. 1968, a term maybe you've never heard, just so I'll inform you so that you will know. Most of the population, or a lot of the population, I won't say most of the population, a lot of the population came from the Buena Vista area. We were known as Society Hill. We're on a hill. That's how other teams knew us. We played Durham one year in the playoffs, and my dad worked in Raleigh that year, and I had to go pick him up for some reason. Mom and I went up there, and I went into their gymnasium and stole one of their banners, and it said "Beat Society Hill." And we brought it to the pep rally we had. So that's how folks looked at us. They knew we were the rich kids. That isn't the case anymore. The reason I bring that up, a pregame meal, that was a given. Rarely was there many folks at Reynolds High School that had to worry about where's their next meal coming from. That isn't the case for a lot of students at Reynolds High School. Getting a pregame meal might sound like a funny thing to, well, why the hell are they doing that of all the needs they have? Well, how would you like to play a 60-minute game and be hungry because you hadn't eaten in a day, or the last thing you ate was lunch that afternoon at school. That's why it's a big deal that we raise the money for these pregame meals. So the team gets together, you can say some things, whatever, and we can get the, pregame meal isn't just what everybody, well, I'll take pizza and I'll take this bacon and egg, da 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 da. There's a science to what you need to eat so that you can perform, and we'll go to restaurants that do that. Mike tells me it costs about $900 a game to get everyone a pregame meal. How many games we play before we do the playoffs?
We do 10 games.
So we need $9,000. If you're looking at this video out there in internet world, you're looking at an article that gives you the opportunity to make an instant donation via PayPal.com using your debit or credit card. You can put it in, and there'll be two options. You can either support the pregame meal, or you can support the football team in general, and let Joe decide where the funds go. But I bring that up. I'm sorry to get off topic a little bit, but that's a big thing to me. And I wanted to put the relevance of it. It's one thing to say you need to do pregame meals, but then you got to explain, why do you need pregame meals? Well, it's because of the population we have that goes to Reynolds High School. And you want to make sure that we go out there and we physically are as good as we can be. And that includes the nutrition in our body to do well. So I get off that soapbox and go on to something else. What are your other needs?
Man, we have some great opportunities for upgrades too. We're in the process of trying to get our weight room upgraded.
Tell me in specific so that folks kind of have an idea what you're talking about.
So we're trying to get the room upgraded with new racks, new barbells, new dumbbells, new benches, because the stuff that we do have, even though it is serviceable and it's been great to us, it is a little bit it's aged. It's probably about 2 decades worth of time spent on those things, and they also were not bought brand new from what I understand. So our kids are using what they can, and we're making it serviceable for our guys as much as we can. But I think it's time for our school to have more of a functional space. We went from having no weight room classes to having 17 sections, which is a lot of classes for a school year.
What's a section? Forgive me. That's a term I don't know.
We're on a block schedule, so we get 4 blocks a day. So think about spring and semester. You're going to get 17 sections in 2 semesters. That means there's 2 classes every block. That's a lot of kids. And we really need a functional space for our guys to be, and our girls, all of our athletes to be better athletes.
Or are there a set for boys and a set for girls?
There will be actually. We're trying to organize a girls class so we can focus on those sports as well. Coach Pittman and myself will be in the weight room as full-time teachers in there. And
forgive me, what is, again, at 73, my memory's not real long, like about that long. What is he? What coach is he?
He's our wrestling coach. So he actually has a girls wrestling team and a boys wrestling team. So I'm a wrestling guy too. I wrestled and I coached wrestling. So
I didn't even know there was girls wrestling. You taught me something new.
Yeah, there's sanctioned girls wrestling. They'll wrestle for state championships and things like that, just like the boys. And they're going to get their opportunity. Girls basketball, and all of those teams will be able to benefit from having a functional space for that as well.
About what does it cost to do either sex? In other words, what would it cost to?
That could be, depending on what we're trying to get. We've been quoted at least between $60,000 and $80,000 for a brand new, all top down facility in the room that we have now. So there's a high end, there's a low end, and we can fit it in and kind of budget the way that we need. But there are some quotes that we've got as upwards as that.
I will tell the alumni, and I haven't talked to Calvin Freeman, but I'm sure he will back me up. If there's somebody out there that wants to make that donation, we will put a large bronze plaque that will stay permanently in that room. And if you want, we will have it so that your face is etched into it. We did that with the Judy Voss Jones Center. I happened to graduate with Judy Voss Jones, and you can see her picture in a bronze plaque. We'll do it, and there'll be two of them. There'll be one for the girls and one for the boys, and that'll be a permanent thing. It'll never move, so that every football player and wrestler and whatever will see you. And I think that's a good deal, and that you support the boys or you support the girls. So that's something to think about. If that interests you, let me suggest that you call Reynolds High School and speak with Brad Fisher. He's the athletic director. And give me 2 seconds, and I will give you Brad Fisher, the school's number. It is RJR. Hold on 1 second. I'm sure this is great watching on YouTube. It is 336-703-4145. That is 336-703-4145. Ask to speak to Brad Fisher, and he will call you back promptly. I can assure you, I've dealt with him a lot of times. What else you want to tell the alumni? When I sit here and talk to folks, it's you and me.
Mm-hmm.
But my newsletters go out to 7,000 folks. Now, I don't pretend to think all 7,000, oh my God, he sent me an email, let me read it. Some of them might not ever read it, but no one of those 7,000 unsubscribe. So they care enough about it that if it hits a topic, maybe I'll watch it. But what else do you want the alumni to know?
Well, the biggest thing, taking over here at Reynolds, I've seen the history and the great future that it has. We want our history to be connected to our present and our future even more. So if you are free, we want you at our games. We want you coming to visit. We want you, involved in what we're doing and seeing our great kids that we have, as much as you'd like. There are such great people a part of this alumni association. And I was just telling the kids the other day that they have so many people in their corner without even knowing, behind the scenes, that support them. And it is our duty and our job to give back to the community that Reynolds has given to for so long. And we need to continue to do that. And we want you guys to come be a part of what we're doing, because as much as this is my program as the head football coach, this is still your program as a fan and as alumni, and as a supporter of RJ Reynolds. So we welcome you any day. Our doors are always open. You want to just come watch practice, you want to come hang out, you come anytime. You call me, text me, and I'll pick the phone up. And I truly do mean that when I say that.
Okay, and one thing, just not to get in the weeds, but to inform the alumni, when I made this statement, RJ Reynolds High School is the place everyone wants to be, that was created by the staff last year for our centennial year, the 100th year. And that's what that's how, when you see Reynolds High School, that's promoted all the time. It isn't something I just came up that's kind of funny and you smiled. You hear that all the time because Calvin Freeman says that all the time. And he had a bunch of staff members, and that's what they come up with. So that I was just doing the slogan, I guess, of RJ Reynolds High School. Joe, it's been a coach. I'll go coach, forgive me. Coach, it's been a pleasure. And like I always end every speech, RJ Reynolds High School, go Demons. Good luck.
Go Demons.
And we'll hopefully do this again.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Thank you, Harry.